Today we would like to take you through the internal nitty-gritties of our partnership, myself and Mandla. Mandla's going to take us through the school's background and some of the strengths and the weaknesses that the school has that we'd like to share with you.
Mikateka is quite a big school. We have 2,169 learners. Sometimes, you know, when I do an introspection, I feel inadequate. I feel I'm not doing enough for the school because of the size of the school. You can imagine it's quite a huge school. The school was built in 1999, but officially opened in 2007. We have 57 educators, and we have 10 cleaners and 4 admin staff. Plus, we've got aftercare center in the school with 16 volunteers under the Department of Social Development. Their responsibility is to look after the infected and the affected learners by HIV and AIDS. This is our mission and vision. I won't go through it. The school is very big on reading. We participate in reading competition in 2 folds. We've got a battle of books and skirmish. The school has won in 2010. We compete against your former Model C schools and your private schools that participate in the competition. Being a school in a squatter camp, we have been able to win the competition in 2010, Battle of Books, that is the grade 6 and 7 learners. We also won in 2016? We won in 2016 skirmish, and also in 2018 we did it again, skirmish, your grade 4 to 5 learners. Academic excellence, we give to our secondary schools learners who can, you know, cope in secondary schools. I always get feedback from principal in high schools that our learners are able to get pass with flying colors. We also participating in Honeywell pilot project. We all know Honeywell is a company in the USA that produces the engine for aviation. So we also participate in that one. Is the STEM project, and we are having an educator who will be visiting USA this year. The space and rocket space, I mean the space and rocket space in USA, colleagues. Yeah, we're also participating in Scratch coding, that is your 4th industrial revolution. Also robotics, our grade 7 will be doing robotics. So this year I'm expecting them to create a robot. Yeah. These are the challenges. We're having a problem with learners who are not doing well academically. We're having a problem with such learners because of limited resources, such as teachers who are trained in dealing with such learners. And I was even talking about that on our way to here with the SGB, that, you know, it pains me to see such learners in the street subsequently, because I would like to have them placed in a special school, but because of the support that we don't give at a primary level, so it becomes difficult even for the high schools to subsequently have them placed in special schools. The school has a computer lab that we are using for the Scratch coding and robotics. And also we aim that the community must also make use of the library, so that they take ownership of the school. Staff motivation, the morale is not yet there. We still need to work on the morale of the staff, and also the teamwork. I think Mandisa can take and talk about the teamwork and how do you motivate the staff?
So for the balance of the presentation, I'll just be taking you through our partnership plan, some of the achievements that we've achieved in the last 12 months, and also what we're carrying forward into the future, because this partnership is not over. So so if you look at the strengths and the challenges, and then what we've come up with as the key focus areas is driving school values with staff and learners, and that's something that Mandla has achieved with his team, particularly from the senior management team as well as the staff, where every month we focus on what the value is for the month. I think there's about 10 values that we've highlighted. Building a strong and productive team building with the staff. We've tried to organize team building, and that's one thing that we need to achieve in the next couple of weeks to a month. We've tried to organize from a timing perspective. There's been some challenges, but that's something that's definitely on the mark, purely because staff morale is so important in ensuring that the educators are well equipped to teach the learners. Conducting more productive team meetings. We've actually implemented time to think in the staff meetings, which is quite productive and positive to see. Some of the staff members think it's a joke, but I think, as we get used to it, at every meeting, they know that we start off a meeting with something positive, something that's enlightening and uplifting before we proceed onto the more difficult parts of the agenda. Driving ownership and accountability of school curriculum. Mandla has implemented that the staff members, I think even at the last staff meeting I attended before we closed school, he clearly communicated through his HODs and also his senior management team and deputies the specific deadlines, because I think that's one of the challenges that we're finding is that the educators are not living up to the deadlines, so that whole accountability element has been implemented. And lastly, supporting remedial learners. Going forward into the new year, there's particular staff that have been put their hands up and are willing and committed to spend an extra hour at the school after school is closed, just to attend to the learners that have challenges from a speed in learning and understanding and grasping some of the information that they're being taught. And then just from going forward, we are, for example, instilling teacher understanding of the ATP.
Annual teaching plan.
Yes, sorry, there's so many acronyms. So making sure that the staff adhere to the annual teaching plan requirements, tracking and adhering to them, to ensure that the learners get enough time to actually absorb the information and are able to do the tests and get good marks. Implementing time to think, as mentioned, improving staff motivation and overall morale through the team building, launching school values, which is really quite exciting, and that's something that we're going to drive even this year, and improving management and support of the school, providing to the remedial learners. And just in summary, in terms of what we have learned with the program, and it will, Mandla will also chip in. I think between the both of us, Time to Think was one of the first workshops that we attended, and it really was an eye-opener, because from there we learned how to actually acknowledge people, how to listen without interruption, how to ensure that when you are having a conversation, it's a two-way and it's not one way where you're always interfering. Also in meetings as well, making sure that everyone is involved and engaged in the meeting, and you're not just talking to a blank people. We've also learned to be more receptive to other people's ideas, and I think maybe Mandla can chip in here, purely because, for example, with his okay, so I've been asked to stop. So I'll just summarize everything, and then also just from the consulting, flawless consulting, engaging with people. I think for me personally, that was also a huge learning on my side. Thank you.
Maybe last one from me is that the rapport that has been created, it continues. Yes, we're not yet done.
Yes.